Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Khairul Abu Sufi, and I am a presenter for the ICASREMS 2020 conference. The title of my paper is Localization of CEFR Illustrative Skills to Malaysian Higher Education. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, the presentation that I will be going through today is actually a concept paper, and this has been proposed or is being proposed for my PhD studies. So I will take you through the slides and I will show you what I have to say. What is CEFR? CEFR is the short form for Common European Framework of Reference for Languages. Therefore, CEFR is actually a language framework for languages, and it's used for either teaching, learning, or language assessments. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, the keyword over here is framework, reference, and languages. Again, it's being used for teaching, learning, or assessment in language-related areas. The CEFR is initially developed by the Council of Europe circa 1991. However, based on literature, work on the CEFR has even started before 1991. It goes way back to a few years before that, when the member states sat down together and thought that they needed a framework to unite all the European languages and to acknowledge each European language as being similar or as important as another European language. Now, the first draft of the CEFR was published in the year 2001. However, in 2018, it was revised and republished as a newer version of the 2001 CEFR. What about CEFR in Malaysian higher education? And why are we using the CEFR? Now, CEFR is stipulated in the English language education reform called the Roadmap, and the Roadmap was published in 2015. Now, the roadmap mentions the utilization of CEFR in English language education in all levels of education in Malaysia, starting from primary level education to higher education. So, no language education is being exempted from the usage of CEFR in its curriculum. Since this topic concerns university students, the roadmap has stipulated that university students must achieve CEFR level B2 or C1 upon completion of study. And this is the target aim before the end of the roadmap, which is 2025. So why do we embark on the usage of CEFR? For the first thing, CEFR has had guidelines towards improvement in language education, and this has been proven in the European states. Secondly, because of its internationalized character, right, Malaysian students would be able to achieve international excellence, and because of that, we would have international standards of our language proficiency. For the time being, CEFR is only being used for English language education in Malaysia. Concerning literature on past and recent CEFR reviews, I have actually identified a few from way back in 2006 up to this year, 2020, and these are just some of the reviews that have been said about the CEFR. Firstly, Little in 2006 has said that the CEFR illustrative skills have been said to be more influential than other parts of the framework. Holston, Alderson, and Schunen in 2010, they asserted that CEFR is also the most researched language proficiency scale in the world, and recently, in 2019 by Reed and Ito in 2020, they have said that CEFR is pertinent in language learning and policy. With this, there is no doubt that any nation would want to embark on the utilization of CEFR for the language education. However, CEFR does not come without its shortcomings. Number one, CEFR is merely a framework, and this can be seen from the title of the document, the Common European Framework of Reference. So it's just a reference framework. Number two, the CEFR illustrative skills are very vague and very broad. The descriptor does not give the entire meaning of the reference level, but it gives you an idea of what students are supposed to achieve before they are actually being banded at that specific level. Thirdly, the CEFR skills need to be tweaked to local standards or to local needs. This has been emphasized many, many times in the CEFR manual, where it says that the illustrative skills are there as a guide or as a reference. And number four, CEFR is European. It was developed based on European languages. It was initially developed based on European languages as a web. So in Malaysia, since CEFR is being used for English, right? Since English is the second language, so CEFR being European, all right, for first language, and in Malaysia we speak English as a second language, there is somewhat of a misconnection between the usage of the CEFR as a first language and CEFR as a second language. That's the first thing. The other thing is because in Malaysia we speak English, and Malaysia sits in the outer circle of world Englishes. Therefore, we have certain features of the English language that might conform to local Malaysian standards. And this can be in terms of its speaking, in terms of its writing, or in terms of its comprehension. In addition to the shortcomings of CEFR, one must understand that Malaysian universities are autonomous. Now, since Malaysian universities are autonomous, they are given the right to to develop their own curriculum. And because of this, if universities are to use the CEFR in constructing their curriculum, there might be a differences of opinion of a certain level of reference. Say, for instance, in University A B2 might be of a certain standard, whereas in University B, CEFR B2 level might be of a certain different standard, which can be higher or which can be lower than the previous university standard. So what then? Now, research by Berger 2020, Jess Bedmar 2018, and North 2014 has asserted that the CEFR illustrative skills must be adapted. In adapting the CEFR illustrative skills, Malaysia should localize the illustrative skills to standard Malaysian English. Not the Malaysian English that is used, say for instance, for colloquial purposes or called Manglish, but this is the standard version that is being accepted as a world English variety. And the end result of the localization process or exercise, Malaysia would have its adapted CEFR illustrative skills, and we will also have a standardized CEFR illustrative skill among Malaysian higher educational institutions. So all universities in Malaysia will be able to use the same scale and will be able to use the same point of reference if we were to localize it based on our own standards. All right, with that, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.